Anyone who has slept with a porn-star off camera, what was the experience like? None. Best of Reddit. Daily new uploads. Subscribe and like for more. Just do it. She wasn't a big name in the industry, but she has videos. It was a really good experience. No over-the-top nonsense like you see in the documentaries. It was just like having sex with a normal person, except she was really good at what she does and she truly enjoys it. Documentaries. I'm going to tell my wife that I'm watching documentaries in the bathroom from now on when she asks me what's taking so long. Laughed hard enough to make my throat hurt, imagining you hollering back about watching all those documentaries. Enjoying the video? Leave a comment below. 3. Throat hurt. Just like in them documentaries. Your what? Imaginary friend. I've known 2 guys who have, and they said it was just plain old sex with no heightened performance. One guy had a one-night stand at a bar, the other briefly dated one. Since a number of porn stars also do escort work, I wouldn't be surprised if they did put on a show for their client. Yeah, the last part of your comment is why I asked this question. You do know that a lot of them are rentable, right? A couple DuckDuckGo searches will bring back listings of some of your favorites. They won't be cheap, but you'll get to pick and have guaranteed sex with a porn star. So prostitution with extra steps. It's not prostitution of you film at SMH. I'm just paying for her time to hang out with me. What we do is unrelated to the money. It's like a make-a-wish but for people hang out with porn stars. The trick is to not pay for the sex. It's the pay for their time. If sex ends up happening during that time. Oops. That's disgusting. Where are these websites? What are they called? I need to make sure I never visit them. Uninspired. The last thing she wanted to do was have sex when she was off work. She was a delightful dinner companion though. She was animated and focused on me, and everybody in the restaurant wondered how a schlubby guy like me snagged such a hot date. I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't be in a rush to fuck. They were just doing that all day. Probably multiple takes. Could be sore. And if male, may not have much left in the tank. I used to work tech support, and the last thing I wanted to do when I got home was help a family member with their phone tablet. People think that if you have anything to do with computers you can do anything with them. I'm a web developer and people think that means I know how computers work. I don't. I just Google shit. But, no, I can't fix your printer. I don't know how, because no one can. They are incomprehensible machines that are holding back the human race. I'm a data center technician and generally handy like fixing things. But printers? Devil's magic. If I see one more cup of coffee. Or, poor Rachel. Is your username the answer to that question? Depends on the orientation of the avocado penis. Johnson's orientation is his own choice, and nobody's business. Let's be honest, the people in the restaurant were really all wondering where they'd seen her before. I know you. I've seen you before. Where do I know you from? Sorry, you're mistaking me for someone else. We've never met before. No, I do know you. I recognize you. Where do I know you from? I'm sorry, you are mistaking me for someone else. We've never met. I absolutely know you from somewhere. Where on earth do I know you from? I promise. You're mistaking me for someone else. We have never met. God, I swear I know you from somewhere. It's like I've known you for years. I'm in porn. Yeah, I'm mistaken. I've never seen you in my life. And do tell, how did a schlubby guy like you nab a date with a porn star? Many former porn actors are escorts because the money is better, work is more steady and often less intensive. No need for anal reshoots and overacting. You just be yourself on a date that might not even include sex. Don't forget to leave your comment. Not just former, nearly all current ones are too. Money is much better considering all the super rich people desperate to fuck anything they've seen on a screen. Money. It was not the mind-blowing experience I had assumed it would be. The biggest difference was that she used a couple of positions that were new to me. They weren't amazing, and after a couple times I realized that she was playing to an imaginary camera. All in all 8/10, would bang again. It's like eating potato chips. Disappointment every time but would eat again. Lays. You can't eat just one. Eats. You can't lay just one. Instructions unclear. Had sex with bag of potato chips. I recently got salt on my pecker and I'm recoiling from remembering the pain. Man, you can't just make a statement like that without dropping the details. How does one do this? I was eating Cheez-Its with my dick out and dropped one. Again, more detail needed. I was edging for No Nut November and also eating Cheez-Its and dropped one on my flaccid phallus. Some of the salt got on it. When I pulled it back out later to piss, I saw that some of the skin on the glands was swollen and hurt to touch. You mean, instructions deceiving? Had sex with bag of there that for some reason had chips inside. I'm a failure as a woman. My men expect so much of me, because of the image they've made of me, and that I've made of myself, as a sex symbol. They expect bells to ring and whistles to whistle, but my anatomy is the same as any other woman's and I can't live up to it. Marilyn Monroe. That's fucking grim. She was a complicated, often sad lady. The podcast You Must Remember This did a great segment on her. There's a great chapter in Dennis Rodman's autobiography where he discusses dating Madonna and how everyone was all man. I bet she's a freak. Does she do freaky stuff? What does she do? And he'd go, she's just a normal woman. Is she a side of beef? No, but she's not some other level freak show at sex either. I think it was way back. He said she was a solid 8. Given how insane Rodman is, it was remarkably mature. Though this was years ago. The book was Bad as I Wanna Be from 1996. He's gone batshit crazy since obviously. What you don't realize is that a hidden camera was there all along. It is not the camera on the outside that matters most but the camera within. Maybe the real cameras were the friends we made along the way. This review was helpful. I dated a girl who seemed like she had a simple life. I later found out she was a stripper and later that she was in a few movies. Sex was great, but I don't think her career had anything to do with it. We had a great energy together that only got stronger the more we learned each other's crazy life stories. She also was bi and would get drunk and bring women home. Good memories. Why'd it end? She went to the corner store to get MILF one day and never returned. This is genuinely the best thing I've seen on Reddit today. Amazing. Don't forget to leave your comment. Somebody with money, time, effort that's clearly don't have get this man an award. Their toilet was broken and she hired a plumber and well, the rest is history. I was 24. It lasted 9 months. PR. I always knew it wasn't going to last forever. She and her family were like the dysfunctional Olympics. I had a friend who dated one for a while. She was gorgeous. A bombshell. She was funny and very easygoing. She had emotional issues that the poor guy had break up with her. Years later, at his birthday, one of his new colleagues refused to believe our jokes about dating a porn actress. The face when the dude saw some pics. Priceless. Oh, and she stole 10k from him. No, how dare you even think about leaving us on that cliffhanger? You better tell me how and why. I need to know why emotional issues cause the breakup and not a loss of 10k. She was smart and funny but her humor was just a mask. In reality she was extremely insecure, neurotic and a compulsive liar. In small doses, hearing a sexy girl telling that her red blouse it's actually green might be hilarious. A girlfriend doing it 24/7 different story. My friend like an accountant. Short, glasses, almost bald, but he has that supreme confidence and charisma of the guy who knows that he can sell sand to Arabs. So, she was always afraid that he will leave her as a punishment for a tiny mistake. Hearing a sexy girl telling that her red blood it's actually bean might be hilarious. I have no idea what this sentence means. Typo, autocorrect. In small doses, hearing a sexy girl telling that her red blouse it's actually bean might be hilarious. A girlfriend doing it 24/7 different story, comma in a small doses, hearing a sexy girl saying that her red blouse is actually green might be hilarious. A girlfriend doing it 24/7 different story. Maybe she was colorblind? I guess he's trying to imply she was a bold-faced liar, like saying the sky is green. Maybe the blouse was striped in white and gold. If OP doesn't come back to clarify we riot because I can't decipher that shit. Red is actually green. Gaslighting. Short, glasses, almost bald. Danny DeVito? George Costanza. Art Vanderlei. The money were well hidden inside somewhere he thought nobody ever could find them. He is a kind of a prepper. He had no idea when or even how she found them. I imagined it as breakup due to emotional issues and her taking 10k while leaving. She told me to make love to her because she was tired of just being fucked and I came in like 2 minutes. Not an encounter I'm very proud of. Edit. Holy shit, a silver. Well, thank you. At least somebody was eventually satisfied from that. Edit 2. Of course this is my most upvoted comment ever. Love you all. That's like 10 times better than me. Kegel's friend. Turns out they're not just for girls. Within a few weeks you can very easily go as long as you want without a lot of effort. Just have to come to terms with like I'm doing sex related exercises and jerking it as training. But for real, who knew? So, more info on this, and a link maybe. For a friend please and thank you. I'm the friend you AV'd for prez. Help a brother out please. Oh alright, oddly enough I think I stumbled upon this googling. Private tab of course, how to last longer. This site is what's up. https://www.nataliason.com/blog/last-longer-in-bed. Those words were game changing for me on two fronts. First, the whole thing about performance anxiety is true. TLDR. You know that muscle that makes your dick like lift? You basically practice maxing that out for 4-5s, stopping for 4-5s, repeating 5x of that like 5x a day. Then you do the inverse, which is, for lack of a better term, the fart shit muscle, and then you rotate. If you're close but not wanting to finish you just kinda instamax one or the other depending and it'll bring you way back. Eventually you develop this kind of numbness, not sure how to explain it properly, but like it has to be rubbed out before you can climax. And since that's exactly what will be happening, there you go. Hope it helps. Was remarkably simple for me once I accepted I was learning it, and the other part about like sexual anxiety. On that front, you think you won't hang. You won't. Maybe it'll seem like torture at first, but like watch 20-30 minute porn scenes or whatever without finishing until the end. Mentally run through entire scenarios or encounters you're hoping to have at one-time frames. Tell her you're not happy until she's happy and like set accurate standards. If you bust in like a few minutes or less and then keep going like it's nothing, it becomes nothing. Most of that is in your head, but ideally the Kegels will do the trick. Noticed within a couple of weeks that it was much more in my control, and the two tricks he teaches to like insta-kill and about to not do work. TBH, the mental thing was like 50%, Kegels 50%. Enjoy. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. Anyone that gets here, this is 100% the correct answer. But you have to do it. You have to practice patience. You have to work those Kegels. Also, I'd like to add, learn other things that don't require your penis. It can get you out of jams, and, for some girls, it can be the finishing move. Okay, is there a non-humiliating or emasculating way that I can send this information to my husband? We've talked about his lack of endurance before, but I don't think he knows what to do, and I think it's making him feel really terribly when we try to talk about it now. No dude, she's used to getting fucked for hours at a time while she's not even turned on. A few minutes of sex is a godsend. I'm a stripper and people just assume my sex life is just wild because of what I do for a living, but the truth is, I get horny, there's maybe some heavy petting or some oral, we fuck for maybe 3-5 minutes and then that's it. Life goes on. No splits or twerking. I don't stand on my head or have giant nipple clamps, and I'm certainly not getting into my outfits. We just wanna fuck. Edit. Thanks for this, as it to some degree bums me out when I think about it bad it could have been for her. This is interesting too. Like I don't personally fully think this, but my maturity around sex and commitment dramatically changed recently, and I love getting female insights into stuff like this. It's less funny if I explain the details of the situation, and she said something similar, like just laying there with me knowing that I loved her felt better than anything she'd ever done without feeling. We'd dated on and off years before that and eventually broke up on a night where she laid into me for caring too much about her direction in life. Told her it's because I'm in love with you. Like, don't you get it? And her reply was, what does that even mean? Years and years later she randomly got in touch saying she hadn't realized how amazing it was and like how much she regretted not being like able to accept it as it was. We tried to reconnect but it was just too far gone at that point. Was a different person back then sadly. It's a real shame because I was about it and she was rad. So out of my league. Look at the King of England over here with his endurance. Humble brag much. Oh look, it's Mr. I can last 2 minutes. Mission failed. We'll get him next time. I'm a woman. I had sex with a very prolific male porn star before he became famous. He had a huge dick which was like wow, but he didn't know how to use it at all. Watching his porn now and it still scented the size of him. Not his skill but the actresses. He says the same weird oh yeah now that he did then. Turn off then. Turn off now. Oh yeah, just like the Kool-Aid man. He's just out there, busting down walls and saying oh yay. You mean busting on walls? Oh, yeah, oh yay is a turn off? Shit. Back to the drawing board. It was the way he said it, like nails on a chalkboard. Kool-Aid man gif. Vocal fry why? Oh man, I've never seen vocal fry represented as written text before, but you got it. Shoulder said you like that you fucking retard. Or fuck. If you're squilly enough. Sometimes I wish you weren't so fucking awkward bud. Gonna need you to dial it back about 30-35%. Yes. No Darry, you're saying it like it's a question. It's yes yes. Gotta put a little pepper on it Darry. Okay Dan okay. I saw one porn that I found hilarious because instead of the usual sex talk of oh yeah she just said yup like, we turn left at the light, correct? Yup, not just one time but repeatedly, and it was so weird it was hilarious. Don't forget to leave your comment. Yup, oh yeah, right there, you betcha. I'm sure there's a unique market for Minnesotan porn. Ever rub one out watching his porn? Is this even a question? Of course I fucking have. Oh yay. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. Chicka. I mean if it was that bad I guess it's a legitimate question. Mandingo, or Manuel? Dude, Manuel is a world-class fuck. He's never disappointed anyone. He never made anyone come till a few years ago. He was really violent in his scenes. Literally would slap the girls till they almost cried. He never made anyone come till a few years ago. Mayo, I love how you just know this with such conviction. Not to mention Manuel is pretty tame compared to some of the other shit out there. I once had sex with a porn star probably about 4 years or so before she got into the industry. That was more than 15 years ago and I still remember all the times we fucked, in detail. So I have to say she was already destined for the screen I guess. Closest thing to Michelle Pfeiffer that you'd ever see. Lady, running down to the riptide. I haven't but I know a guy who did. He said she was a really cool person and they had a lot in common. But the sex was not at all what someone would imagine. Apparently, she got into the industry pretty quickly after losing her virginity and basically 90% of her sexual experiences were on camera. Because of this, she didn't know how to have a natural sexual experience with a normal person. He said if he didn't tell her what he wanted her to do, she was awkward and clueless. It's sad. TBH. She was so used to being directed that if someone wasn't directing her, she couldn't just go with it and enjoy herself organically. Porn is just a job and the sex they have on camera is not good sex. It is designed to look sexy, but no one is getting off from being contorted or having a cameraman wrapped around them to get a close-up. Porn is an illusion, like a tsunami in a movie. It is special effects. A lot of men these days are awful in bed because they learned what they know about sex from porn and try to do these ridiculous positions and actions that people don't actually like. Porn is for entertainment, not education. I met him at a bar and was a bit drunk. Ended up complimenting him on how his ass looked like you could bounce a quarter off of it, had some drinks and laughs, and agreed to grab a cab uptown to his place when the bar was closing down. We started getting hot and heavy on his couch and everything is going decently well and he suggests we move into his bedroom. He had like one of those junior one bedrooms in a high rise along the lake where the wall kind of slides open between the living room and the bedroom. So he slides this partition open and we're in each other's arms making out moving to the bed and he plunks me down on it and I look around for a minute and then freeze. It's this huge custom welded steel bed with an overhanging frame supporting a leather fuck swing with an attachment welded on it to hold an industrial sized jug of lube with a pump on it. I realized that in my drunkenness I had bitten off way more than I could chew and apologized and noped the fuck out of there. I found out a week later he was a pornstar from the bartender where I picked him up at. Sounds like it should be in Penthouse Forum. So there I was. Barbecue sauce on my titties. Again. Record scratchier that me. You're probably wondering how I got here? Well let's just say there were two kinds of hooch making my decisions at the time. I once met a woman off Bumble who was looking for casual sex. It actually ended up being a horrible date, because there was no chemistry or flirting. She talked sex like talking shop, and she detailed to me how she was trying to build a harem in a surprisingly unerotic way, the number of dates she'd been on, and the details thereof. She said one guy had a bed with hard points fixed on the frame, and while as a kinkster that sort of setup has some appeal, like I said, like talking shop, I just can't help but see that scaring off a huge number of potential partners, including those who would otherwise be interested in the utility of said hard points. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. What did she rate your head? Unbelievable. Above the rest. Who was it? You know, to verify your story. Research purposes. Really? I was gonna jack off. I'm conducting a study on the average variable distribution of porn stars and their sex lives. We meet again, you cock daddy Karen. My buddy basically paid to sleep with Bonnie Rotten. He said he isn't into the gagging on dick noises, and then I wondered why he paid VR and if he's ever seen her videos. Said it was pretty cool otherwise. I'm a woman and slept with a male porn star I met on Tinder. He works part-time as a porn star, and full-time as an aircraft mechanic. His room was his normal bedroom, except there were box lights around it for at-home filming. I was a bit nervous going to his house for the first time meeting, but we eventually started talking about random stuff. If his siblings know he's a porn star, and what it's like to be a male in the porn industry. He joked about how his sister once said that he's finally in clothes when he was at dinner, and I played with his dogs too. Needless to say, it was one of the best sexual experiences I've ever had. It was weird, but I felt a genuine connection with him. He treated me really well. Before having sex, we got familiar with each other, and it didn't seem like he was rushing to have sex. We're both kinky people, so he taught me these safe words: yellow light, slow down, red light, stop. Before we started, he dumped out a duffel bag of BDSM equipment and we went to work. Sex was great. He took good care of me and communicated with me the entire time. It was my first time trying an anal plug as well, and I told him it hurt. He reassured me and told me, "You're doing great, baby," and went slower. I think the best part of this was that he was a great communicator, and respected my boundaries as to how far kinky I was willing to go. 10/10 would fuck again. You played with his dogs? I haven't tried that one before. Those dogs probably love his line of work. Oh boy, a new person. There's always a new person. Sounds like a real gentleman. Negotiation. Safe words. Aftercare. These are the signs of a good play partner. Yellow and red are the two sapphire words everyone should use. They are easy to remember and everyone who plays in a public space or at parties is required to use them. Yellow for slow down and let's talk out of character, usually to indicate you are about at your limit or you don't like something he is doing, like calling you by your mom's name. Red for full stop, we are done right this second. Yellow for slow down and let's talk out of character, usually to indicate you are about at your limit or you don't like something he is doing, like calling you by your mom's name. Suspiciously specific. It sounds like a super nice and sweet night. Why have I never heard of yellow light until now? I've been working a binary go stop system. Of course there should be slow. Ron Jeremy once shook my hand and told me that he appreciated my work. Does that count? Depends on which hand. Depends on which Ron Jeremy. It was me. I don't want to shake hands with him. I just feel like there's not enough hand sanitizer. I'm anticipating my ex becoming a porn star in about a year, so I'll get back to you. How do I find you in a year? I've forgotten you already. Currently in a relationship with a former porn actress. Throwaway for reasons. Didn't know she used to do porn when we started dating. She didn't tell me until after we had sex. Gives the best head I've ever received, but for a while I thought she was faking orgasms because my dumbass watched one of her videos on Pornhub and she sounded like she does with me. Fucked with my head for a while, but I've talked to her about it and we're all set. After her, nothing else compares. I'd almost rather stay single than go back into the dating pool trying to fuck girls that look good in their pictures, have boring personalities, and then are terrible in bed. This girl is going to ruin me and I'm alright with it. This girl ruined me and I'm alright with it. Sounds like it should be in your vase. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. I recently found out that a lot of porn stars are available for private bookings via superstar escort agencies. My favorite porn star Veronica Rodriguez charges are $3,000 to $5,000 per hour, and every now and then she'll do a post on Instagram. Comments disabled on these posts, saying available in whatever city this weekend. Charges are $3,000 to $5,000 per hour, and every now and then she'll do a post on Instagram. Comments disabled on these posts, saying available in whatever city this weekend. Oh man, if I ever saw that with my favorite porn star, I would have to immediately force myself to jerk it and then forget about everything and go watch a Ken Burns documentary. My hubby used to date Jenna Hayes. Back in college as in like 05, she drove like 2.5 hours to go on dates with him in Michigan. She was Jenny from H&R Block to him. He couldn't get her to do anal. Few years later he saw his Jenny long after they broke up on the Porn Awards for Best Anal Scene. He's still upset about it to this day. She's still Jenny from the block. I'm still Jenny from the block. Used to fuck a little, now I fuck a lot. Poor man's gold. Money bag. Don't be fooled by the cocks that I got. Well, how do I ask this? Did you tell him? Honey, forget that whore. You can fuck my anus anytime. I'm just commenting so my GF, who secretly follows me, will freak out for a second. In fact twice. First was with a French porn star. I'm European, but it was in an escorting encounter. As you would expect, she fucked the brain out of me for 2 hours doing me things I didn't know that existed. Kind girl. Wanted to give some real pleasure and took her own, but it was for money. I once had a one-night stand with a girl I was kind of. She looks like someone I know maybe in a movie, but who is she? Turned out she was a Hungarian porn star just visiting Brussels where I live, but I recognized her only weeks later. Probably the kindest girl I've ever met. Took her around the city, then to a restaurant, and ended up at her hotel. Probably with her that I've learned the difference between fucking and making love. She spent the whole night in my arms and hers around me. Would do it 20/10. Not only she was a goddess, but she was heart melting. I was in an open relationship with a porn star and her boyfriend, then fiance, then husband, for a little over a year, and I must say the sex was 10/10. In her videos I can tell when she's faking though, and I don't think she really enjoyed it as much as she pretended to. She had been doing it for so many years and is now 30 something, so I think she might just be afraid to start over career wise. Her husband eventually got jealous of our closeness and I moved out, ending our relationship. Miss the kiddo and the dog the most though. Kinda nuts. I've seen one woman say sex with a male porn star was average, and the rest of the women said it was amazing. Guys who have fucked female porn stars seem to be 50/50. The best I've ever had, I swear. He knew my body better than I knew it myself. He was my first for several positions, for several types on intimacy, and I've never forgotten how intense and satisfying our sex was. Wish I could do it again. Who was he? Albert Einstein. Jack Mehaff. I didn't have sex with a porn star, but one used one of my Android apps and asked for support. If anything, I'd say he was a little more articulate and tech savvy than the average person that emailed me. Close enough. I mean, how many people on Reddit do you expect to have stories about fucking porn stars? I mean, how many people on Reddit do you expect to have real stories about fucking porn stars? Ftfi. I mean, how many people on Reddit do you expect to have real fucking Ftfi? How many people on Reddit, but for real. My girlfriend and I have been in a few kink.com shoots, and I fuck my girlfriend occasionally, so, you know, pretty good. And I fuck my girlfriend occasionally, you absolute madman. Ava Adams was one of the worst recipients of doggy style I have ever come across. She kept her legs very close together, which put her vag at a weird angle and made it difficult to get a good stroke going. Admittedly, I could have been more assertive in repositioning her. Overall, it was 20 minutes of fairly mediocre sex. Lovely conversation afterwards though. I hope she is able to finish her nursing degree one day. If you are enjoying the video, subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of my new videos. Admittedly, I could have been more assertive in repositioning her. You failed the test. Few years ago met a retired adult actress through a mutual friend and we hit it off. Like many adult actresses, she had worked a lot for about 2 years, but then left the biz. This was 6 or 7 years since she had worked. It was the most normal sex. Nothing crazy, very playful. I have never felt more comfortable in bed with any other woman. I always wonder if a woman is actually enjoying herself or just trying to make me feel good. With her, there was no doubt. She was into it, knew what she liked, and gave great feedback. Looking back, wish it had turned into more, but alas our schedules really didn't sync up, so we decided it wasn't going to work out long term. I had an orgy with Madison Ivy, Nicole Aniston and Kendall Lust. It was great. Then I woke up. This guy jerks off. There's two types of guys in this world. Those who admit to jerking off and lies. Hey you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that imperial ambush, same as us and that thief over there. I shagged Zoe Voss a few months after she turned 18 and a few months before she went into porn. She was really horny and I got the vibe she would be down for just about anything right away. Also, my wife and I have both made out with a different porn star. Also before they made the career switch. It wasn't at the same time and was way before I met my wife. Seems like they're just normal people that are maybe more attractive, sexual, and wild than average. Both of these girls had broken homes and were a little lost in life, then met the wrong person to connect them to an easy way to make money doing something they like anyway. You and your wife each made out with the same porn star independently before you met each other, or two different porn stars? Same porn star, different times, before we met. Throwaway account. So, there was a porn star in my town that was doing private meet and greets. I said well why not and contacted her about it. When we finally meet up it was actually at my place and it started out like any other date, some small talk. She could tell I was a little nervous about it, but made sure I was comfortable and made the first move as it were. From then on she put on a bit of a show before we got started. From there I just kind of let the experience take over and it was the best sex ever. If for no other reason I could explore some kinks and other things with her and be completely open with her sexually and experiment doing things I never would have been comfortable doing in a real relationship. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume this wasn't free. How much? A month's worth of allowances and good boy points. Nice try, FBI. I'd tell you all about it but Arp's mom made me sign an NDA. One of my friends had sex with Victoria Paradis. That lucky son of a bitch. I once did a friend who became a cam general later on. Not quite the same but the sex was good. Yes, about 10 years ago I had sex with a very famous porn star. She is still working today in the industry but I'm not going to name drop her. I will say, she was practicing bending over backwards to give head all those years ago. From what I've seen though, she's a lot more flexible these days. It was actually lame as hell to be honest. I didn't know she did porn until 2 weeks in. I was like seriously? Your dick is 2 weeks long? He was super confident and showed me the comments he gets about himself from gay men before we did anything. Funny enough he lived up to his own hype. Not a porn star, but I accidentally dated a hooker once. She was this super sweet Korean girl living in LA. I was in the military, so only got to see her maybe every other weekend. She'd always greet me at the door in lingerie and have the most awesome food cooking for me, which she would insist I eat while she gave me the most amazing massage of my life. Well, we dated for a few months, but as I got hanging around her and her friends I noticed something off. They all supposedly worked as beauticians, which is a position that often pays on commission and tips, and have to rent their own stalls at the parlor, so they often make sub-minimum wage once everything gets deducted and average out. But something was wrong. Because these Korean chicks always had the nicest, most up-to-date designer clothes, they went to clubs with cover charges that cost more than I made in a week, wearing dresses worth more than I made in a month. She would often open a purse packed with cash in high denominations. Yet, I was dating a cool girl and hanging out with her co-workers. At first my visceral reaction was disgust that I had been sleeping with somebody who sells femmes often up to 4 or 5 clients on a busy night. But it quickly turned to a deep emotional hurt that for 6 months what I had assumed was a genuine relationship with a group of really nice people was based on a lie. I broke up with her and never spoke to any of them again. I was in a really dark emotional place at the time, and finding out a group of people who I had come to rely on as my only connection to the rest of normal civilian life was basically just a giant charade was really not cool. Slept with a porn star a few times. It was amazing, but she got really clingy and it really came back to bite me in the ass. I wanted to keep it quiet, but she said she was going to tell people and I had to actually pay her to keep quiet about it. Anyway, that was a long time ago and I'm president of the United States now, so it's all behind me. Removed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like and hit the bell for more videos. Comment your views.